Hello, my fellow presenters. Okay, so you live in London. It's one of the theatre capitals of the world. Many West End venues, but also institutions like the National, the Young Vic, the Old Vic, and so much more. And so many regional pocket theatres like the Lyric Hammersmith, Arcola, Almeida, and so much more. Theatre Royal Stratford East out in Stratford. So there's a lot London has to offer, and it would be great to be able to make the most of this, but maybe you're just moving into London or the brutal private rental market and you're just trying to stay afloat. Maybe your freelancer hustle is involved in theatre or the arts. And often you would actually benefit from being able to see more theatre, because maybe you're a theatre designer going up for interviews and sometimes they'll ask you, well, what staging of shows have you seen that you can reference? Same if you're a theatre director or a performer, writer, and so forth. So there is a great hack here that I'm going to tell you about, and that is being a seat filler. What is a seat filler? Well, a seat filler is basically just that, somebody that sits in the audience of a theatre show. Often it's a show that's already running. Maybe ticket sales have been quiet for whatever reason. There's just been a lot of competition. It could still be a very good show, but there's the opportunity to see more theatre and see more work, and often perhaps go to a part of London that you haven't been to before, or just see a new theatre and a new space. London has so many events to offer. It should be noted this doesn't just apply to theatres. It could also be concerts, specialist screenings where they want people. I actually went to a specialist quiz once just because I wanted to sort of see it for research as well for my comparing. A whole wealth of events. I remember I went to a kind of immersive games theatre, immersive theatre. So much London has to offer. It can also apply for things like an open dress rehearsal. So maybe it's being opened up, but they want to have some kind of audience there to sort of see how things land, what needs to be tweaked. It could also be an open dress rehearsal of a show where they're having a cast change as well, or for a matinee, not for a matinee, rather, understudy run. That could also be another thing. Sometimes those are advertised in certain Facebook groups. So if you're on a lot of theatres' mailing lists or outreach programs, which I'll talk about, or I'll have another video about. I'm going to go through some of the seat filling services that you can use. I'm by no means endorsing one over the other. I've dabbled in some of them, but this is just to give you an idea of what's out there. You can certainly search for more. And also the programs and services might change over time. One is called the Theatre Royal Haymarket Masterclass. Masterclass is a great platform to get literally free masterclasses from veteran performers, directors in the industry, but they also have a quiet seat filling service that you can take advantage of. They charge a small administration fee, something in the region of like £5, but you can see great shows often at the Haymarket or in other London theatres. Another is Central Tickets. A lot of these platforms won't often open up their databases or allow anybody to join. They'll have certain periods of intakes, but you can often at least express your interest, and when there is an opening you'll be invited to join when they find that they're not able to fill their shows or their requirements as much as they would like. Another is the Audience Club. It should be noted that often you're required to utilise the membership, sometimes see a certain amount of shows a year, something in the region of 5 shows, and it might be the case that often you're not privy to all of the shows that they are being asked to seat fill. This doesn't apply to Audience Club. Others might run theirs in a similar way as well. But it's really important that you just take that opportunity when you know you're free. Perhaps one is close to you and it wouldn't be that far to go. Just see more shows, and then often you can upgrade your membership to see shows perhaps at certain venues that you would more be excited to see. There's often a sentiment that, oh well, what's the point in doing this, because often it shows that that haven't done well, that perhaps people don't want to see, just fringe shows. Well, that's actually not the case. I've seen some absolute gems. Often we're not supposed to talk about which shows they are because they weren't able to be seat filled for whatever reason. Sometimes they are things like understudy runs. Just a great example, I was able to see One Man, Two Governors at the National Theatre Studio before it was about to go on tour. So they did it as a dress rehearsal, and I got that because I was on the Theatre Royal Stratford East Outreach Network mailing programme. So that was just a complete gem. Loved that show, laugh out loud. So there are great opportunities of things that you can watch. And that was actually in the day as well, so that worked out really well. And then I think I must have done a quiz or something in the evening. Another thing that I would say is, particularly if you have a or creative freelancer disciplines, such as being a director or theatre designer, even if you're seeing work that you're not that keen on, often it's good for your discipline, particularly when you do interviews, that you can often talk about, I think this didn't work because of this, but I did like this. I could see the references to such and such. When I was doing workshops at the Young Vic on the directing side, that's often something that was reiterated to us. So it's all part and parcel of the work, your education, but also when you then see other shows, or when you perhaps do a workshop in whatever your discipline is, you'll often meet other people, or you'll see certain people from shows that you've done or that are linked in some way, and you'll be able to reference that, and that will help with your networking. So definitely just take that opportunity. Maybe you're somebody that's watching this that's got a freelancer discipline in something completely different, and you're living in the city, but this is something that you can do. Just basically make the most of London's theatre scene. So that's a great thing as well. It's important to note that could be reprimanded if you don't go. There could be a strike on your account. So really make sure that you fulfill your commitment to see the show. Obviously, if something happens, I think most have leeway. Another that you can use is play-by-play. They often offer tickets as well, so you can inquire about joining them. But also, if you Google, there'll be quite a few. Often theatre outreach programs will have theirs as well. Also, if you are on theatre outreach mailing lists, there's nothing stopping you from asking, is there going to be a dress rehearsal that I can come and watch to see this play? I remember when I was doing workshops at Theatre Royal Stratford East, for example, the artistic director and practitioners at the theatre would often say, there's some free seats in the house, do feel free to come and see it. They really want, more people to see the work, more people that are local, and it's great that you're there, and so they'll ask you if you'd like to take the opportunity. So other than that, there's lots of discounted theatre schemes that you can use, particularly if you're under 25 or under 26. I remember I saw a lot of great shows at the National, and just the staging at the National was epic as well. I remember after I did the course at the Young Vic, we got invited to a lot of the premieres and shows. I remember Yerma was one that I was just like, wow, this is absolutely amazing. That had Billy Piper in the lead. I've seen some stuff that's just been absolute gems, and other things I'm just like, well, what is that? But there you go, that's theatre. Another thing that you can use and sign up to is Mousetrap. They have different memberships, but they get big West End shows. If you're under 25, I think you only pay something in the region of £5, up to 30. It's a bit more. Personally, I'm very against this sort of ageist thing of, where they're like, we're just trying to encourage young people to see theatre. I get why they do it, but equally there might be other reasons why somebody else might have an economic barrier. So I don't think the methodology and system they use is great. But seat filling, and often if there's a show that you really like, you can write to the director or the designer and ask, is this something that I can go and see, because I'm really interested in your work, especially if you have that discipline. I've seen that happen before. So there's nothing stopping you taking that initiative, and often somebody that does do that, the person is often very much inclined to want to sort that out for you. So I'd love to hear any anecdotes from anybody if that's worked for them, because I've seen it happen. If there's anything that I've missed as well, do please feel free to add that too. Have you used any services for seat filling? Is there anything that I forgot to mention? Please share your experiences or any other tips. Anything that you're like, this is absolutely amazing. I hope you get to experience many great shows and just really enjoy it. Thank you. Bye.